Welcome to the Money Mentors Podcast.
Okay, that's it. I've had enough. Michigan goes from 73 degrees and sunny down to 30 with wind chill down to 13, 60 degrees different. I think I need to get to warm weather that's going to be consistent for a while. So if you're listening to this, I'm en route to Florida. I'm going to Florida for a little bit and look at some consistent, and then I'll come back when you all get the weather figured out that we can have consistency. Either I want snow or I want sun. I don't want it day to day, back to back.
Right. Yeah. When we can get a 5-day stretch with some normal temperatures, Gary, then I say you
then
come
I'll be
back.
back.
Right. Yes.
Aren't I a little pansy? I mean, you know.
You know what? My mom is getting this way a little bit later in life. She is very much like, please get me a second home in Florida so that I don't have to sit here and go through the temperature swings. I don't know. It does take a toll on you after a while.
It's weird because last week my mother turned 100, and in 2020 she came back to Michigan, and she's always thrown me off. When she turned 90, she got a smartphone. I'm 90. I think I should get a smartphone. In 2020, during middle of COVID, I think I should move back to Michigan from Florida. Mom, you're not going to like it because of snow. No, I'll just watch it from inside. And she did, and she loves it. They loved watching the snow and the people and all that, and the snow plows, and they're going like, we're nice and warm in here at 78 degrees in the house.
Yeah. So again, all about perspective too, and making the most of it. But I'm with you. I would like a nice stretch of days where it stays consistent. And when we're talking about consistency too, I know that's what a lot of people want with their financial plans. And we're going to talk more about how you build that consistency into your plan today here on Money Mentors. And Gary, I know in recent weeks we've been getting a lot of calls and questions during our special series on taxes here on Money Mentors. So I thought we'd dive right into that this week. Now, USA Today gives us 3 ways that we can save on taxes as we get a little older. So I wanted to go through a few of these with you this weekend here because they make a lot of sense. Take the extra standard deduction. Now, there are some benefits to getting older, aren't there?
Yes, and again, 65 or older, you're going to get an extra $1,500 per person for a standard deduction. So that should open up a few different things. One is that we like that because if you're 65 or older and you're not in a higher tax bracket, that would allow us to take more money out of your IRA, convert it to a Roth IRA after we pay the tax on it, and then it's never taxed again. Not for you, not for your heirs. Nobody in the future is ever going to pay taxes on that again. Now, let's say we have a incredible investment that does 100% in 1 year. So we put $10,000 of Roth money into this investment. Next year, it's worth $20,000. Nobody pays taxes on that, at least how the government has things set up today. So that's a great way to look at it from the standpoint is, hey, I can put extra money into my Roth or convert so that I have more money tax-free down the road.
All right. Very nice. And number 2 on this USA Today list here, Gary, is contribute more to your retirement plan. Again, I think sometimes people don't realize you actually have some higher limits as you get a little bit older.
And I know this one's Laurel keeps talking to all our clients about.
Yeah. And so with this one where we're talking about contributing to a more tax-favored retirement plan, that's another easy break. When we talk about 2024 now, those contribution limits, if you have a 401k, it's $23,000. But if you're 50 or older, you're now allowed that catch-up contribution of an additional $7,500. So that means your total annual limit, if you're 50 and older, is $30,500. And I think that's really important too, because not only are you contributing, which helps your income come tax time, but it's also something to where you're taking advantage of the employer's match, and that's free money, and that's a win.
All right. So good to know. You can give retirement savings quite the boost here post 50. But just because you have that 401k, does that necessarily mean that that's where your assets should go? Because, again, sometimes a lot of workplace plans these days offer the Roth option too.
Yeah, and there's other things you might want to look at as well as that, because we had a gentleman come in this last week and his wife owns a company and he's working and, you know, she needs to put more money away. So she actually started a solo, meaning an individual 401k plan. most of the time, then we talk about 401k plans, they're so expensive because of the recording and all the math you have to do to put the plan in place. And so the reporting you have to do every year to the IRS to make sure you're putting the right amount away and you're not heavy, meaning management's putting more away than the regular workers are. All of that's very expensive. So we have a situation where we can do a solo 401k. The math is real easy. The paperwork's real easy, and it makes sense because then they can put that additional funds away up to $30,500 instead of maybe $8,000 like you can now. So once again, putting more money away in such a way. So it's really about where you're working, what works best for you, including spousal. Maybe your spouse is at home or not working, doing some other type of work that they don't get paid for. You can even put away money for your spouse called a spousal IRA and get a tax deduction for that as well.
Good to know about those options here. Now, number 3 on this list is something we don't talk often about here on the show, but very important, and that is max out things like your HSA. There are a lot of tax advantages with these health savings accounts, aren't there?
Yes, and they actually say the health savings account is considered one of the best tax breaks because it's actually pre-tax money. So any interest in it earns tax-free, and it isn't taxed when you spend it on a qualified medical expense. So, for example, Taylor and I, we have our HSA set up and we go to the chiropractor. And so we made sure we have direct deductions from our wages that go right into this HSA account. And then from there, we can directly pay our chiropractic. That's what they have for the credit card on file. So that way we can obviously see what we're spending throughout the year and have all that information come tax time for the next year. But trying to put stuff in place now, also set it and forget it, and make sure you start routinely doing that when you go to prescription pickups, things like that.
And not everybody's eligible for an HSA. It really depends upon the health plan you have. But if you're eligible for it and you're not using it, again, this is one of the great gifts of not paying taxes is an HSA. So if you're eligible, you can contribute up to $10,300, all pre-tax, to be used in the future.
And so this can actually be used as a retirement planning tool for those healthcare expenses you might need later on, it sounds like.
Yes, and they're even talking about opening it up to have it done so that you could use your HSA for, you ready for this? Premiums used like when you're in Medicare age.
Oh, wow.
So they're Medicare age, you want to have that supplemental insurance. HSA, they're talking about opening it up so you can pay for those supplemental insurance premiums as well.
Want weekly lessons from your money mentors? Yes. Hit the subscribe button now and listen every weekend on Wood Radio.
The opinions expressed in this program are for general informational purposes only and are not intended to provide specific advice or recommendations for any individual or on any specific security. To determine which investments may be appropriate for you, consult your financial advisor prior to investing. Any past performance discussed during this program is no guarantee of future results. Fee-based financial planning and investment services are offered by Matson Financial Services, LLC, an SEC-registered investment advisor. Insurance products and services offered through Lakeview Financial Group, LLC, Matson Financial Services, LLC, and Lakeview Financial Group are affiliated. To find out if Matson Financial Services is licensed in your state, please call 800-536-8907.